ZT diagram and medium detail view windows. Test points and their characteristics in medium detail view. To start, first open medium detail view window from the toolbar and move it into an appropriate location. Characteristics of each point are displayed in medium detail window with details. This window consists of two tables of shot data and zone data. In shot data table, the information related to time impedance, test point, as well as current and voltage of the test point are shown. Zone data table is composed of two main parts. In the first part, general information related to relay zones along with the allowed operation time for each one is displayed, and it is the same for all selected points. But the second part of this table changes according to the selected test point. For example, if a point in Zone 2 is selected, the general information of the zones will be displayed in Zone Data table without any change. But in Is in Zone column in the second table, it is specified that in which zones the selected point is located. In Is in Toll column, it is specified whether the selected point is located in the tolerance zone or not. In Zone Index column, the main zone related to the selected test point is specified. If the point is located in only one zone, the zone will be considered as the main zone, but it should be noted that if the point is located in multiple zones, the zone with the shortest nominal time will be considered as the main zone. ZT diagram window and points related to check line and search line. To open ZT diagram window, View menu or the toolbar should be used. On this window, the time diagram based on impedance, according to the operation characteristic of the relay zones, along a specific angle is displayed, which the most important application of this in the software is finding the test points for search test and check test. Note that the diagram on this window is linked with the impedance view, and any point that is shot on one of these two windows will be shot on the other window accordingly. In the curve of this window, the vertical lines are the border of zones, and between the two vertical lines, the time impedance characteristic of the zones in the angle specified by the user is displayed. On this window, tolerances are displayed with dotted lines and yellow zones. Let us use an example to explain how this diagram works. If test view is on shot test, and 0.5 ohm and 65 degrees are entered in Z and phi fields in ZT diagram window respectively, you can see that the point corresponding to this shot is displayed on impedance view. Note that in shot test the value of angle and phi are the same because angle refers to the angle of the line drawn from the point specified in origin with XR diagram as its origin. By specifying it, the variation of time impedance curve in angle is displayed in ZT diagram window. This means that if the angle is 65 degrees, ZT diagram shows the time variation based on the impedance in this angle. In this angle, the impedance moves from zone 1 with 30 milliseconds to zone 2 with 100 milliseconds, and then moves from zone 2 up to no trip zone. By moving on this diagram and clicking on its different sections, you can see the movement of magnet cursor in impedance view. To make it clear, if in ZT diagram window the angle is changed to 40 degrees, you can see that the ZT diagram changes because in 40 degrees angle the impedance only changes from zone 1 to no trip. In fact, by changing the angle, the ZT curve changes according to the zones available on its impedance course. In this diagram, you can see two blue dotted lines, which the left side line indicates the Z equals 0 line, which is the minimum allowed impedance value. As you already know, impedance cannot be smaller than 0. The right side line indicates the selected point. But in search test and check test, angle is the angle of the drawn line, phi is the origin impedance angle of search line or check line, and their values are different. For example, if in check test a check line is drawn from zone 1 to no trip, you can see the time based on the impedance diagram in ZT diagram window in the angle where the line is drawn. In this diagram, you can see the two blue dotted lines where the first line indicates the start point and the second line indicates the end point of the check line. Note that in this state, the z equals 0 line is the start or origin point of the check line, and the other blue line is the end point of the check line, and the distance between these lines is the length of the check line. An important point for understanding the concept of check test is that when a check line is drawn, the software starts moving on the line and adding a shot on places where the tolerance is broken on the ZT diagram. Here, as you can see, since there are 3 features along the check line in ZT diagram, 3 shots are added. In this case, the difference between search test and check test is that in search test, the software does not add a shot on all tolerance fractures on the search line, but from the zone line towards both ends, it only adds a shot to the first tolerance fracture. Another point is that if you draw a search line or check line like this figure, you can see that in addition to adding shots on places where the tolerance is fractured on the ZT diagram, the software adds a shot inside the zone and in the middle of the ZT characteristic accordingly. To explain this, if the line drawn from within a zone crosses a zone with different operation time but no point is shot from that zone, the software adds a shot to a point on search line or check line in the middle of its characteristic in ZT diagram and impedance view.